Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I have come up with a very routine case of a manual small incision cataract surgery. All the steps have been demonstrated really slow, and for each of us to understand the steps precisely. By this time one side port has been made and the anterior capsule has been stained using trypan blue, and now is the time to wash out the dye from the anterior chamber. HPMC 2% goes into the anterior chamber and the air bubble is also removed. Here I am using a 26 gauge bend needle cystitome to raise a flap for the creation of CCC. Now using a 23 gauge micro-rhexis forceps through the side port, I have initiated the making of a CCC. The flap is gradually moved along the margin of the dilated pupil. Care is taken that we don't have any extension of the rhexis. The flap is moved slowly, equidistant from the margin of the dilated pupil. With multiple grabs, the rhexis is being done. Micro-rhexis forceps, they are a very good tool. They give excellent control, and we don't have chamber shallowing also while using these forceps. They can go in through a small side port. So now is the time to refill the chamber with viscoelastic. Again the flap is held and the rhexis is nicely completed. We have got a decent size, around 5.5 millimeters capsulorhexis. Conjunctival flap has been made and the bleeders are now being cauterized using a bipolar cautery. Minimal cautery is done, not too much cautery is applied. A frown shaped incision is planned, which is about half thickness of the sclera. Size about 6 to 6.5 millimeters. Using a crescent blade, the ends of the incision are then marked, and we have to take care that we do the dissection in a single plane. The blade now enters in the center of the incision into the cornea to about 1.5 millimeters, and then it is extended both ways. Left side scleral pockets are now being created, and similarly the bevel of the blade is kept upwards and the incision, internal incision is being made on the right side. scleral pockets have been made. A trapezoid shaped incision is made. The inner lip is wider than the outer lip. Now using a 2.8 keratome, the chamber is entered. We always cut while moving, and we have an inner incision shape which is parallel to the limbus. Gentle hydrodissection is being done and the nucleus is tapped to free out all the cortico-capsular adhesions. Some viscoelastic is being instilled. Now is the time to prolapse the nucleus out of the capsular bag into the anterior chamber. For this, I am going to use two Sinsky hooks for bimanual dialing and removing the nucleus. With two Sinskys, the nucleus is gently wheeled out of the capsular bag into the anterior chamber, just as shown. Viscoelastic is then instilled behind and in front of the nucleus, and using a phaco sandwich technique, a vectis and a dialer, the nucleus is slowly expelled out of the eye. The loose epinucleus and cortex is gradually just irrigated out using the irrigation handpiece of the bimanual irrigation aspiration. Just the water jet is being used now to just loosen out all the epinucleus and the cortex which is there in the anterior chamber, and a part of it from the capsular bag as well. In these kind of white cataracts, quite lot of cortex can be removed just by irrigation. Now the other handpiece, the aspiration handpiece, has been used to just remove whatever the cortex is still there in the capsular bag. Hands are now being switched, and in a moment the cortex from the other side will be removed. When we are using bimanual irrigation aspiration and we have got a very secure and tight wound, we can use this technique without much risk of anterior chamber shallowing, just as sometimes we have problems using Simcoe. Capsular bag is filled up with viscoelastic and a 3-piece non-foldable intraocular lens is being implanted. The haptic goes into the capsular bag, and now using a Sinsky, the other haptic is also dialed into the capsular bag. The dialing hole is held and slowly the lens is perfectly centered. Again, majority of the viscoelastic is being just removed using the water jet of the irrigation handpiece, both from behind the intraocular lens and in front of the intraocular lens. whatever remaining viscoelastic is now being aspirated. Now is the time to close, and here I am putting a single 10O nylon suture just to counteract the against the rule astigmatism. The knot is tied with 2-1 and one more loop is been made. The ends are cut and the knot is rotated into the sclera. Now is the time to hydrate the side ports. First, the right sided side port is hydrated. The other side port is also hydrated. Some moxifloxacin intracameral is instilled into the eye, and here I am closing the conjunctiva using 8O vicryl suture with the buried knot. This is how we close the conjunctiva and have a knot which gets buried inside so that it doesn't irritate the patient while the patient blinks. Ends are cut. That's it. Thank you so much.